After calmly descending into the borderlands, a voice echoed in his ears. To repair the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord. After loosening up his fists and legs, the Tarnished steadied himself. He casually drew out a few tools for self-defense. Before him lay a true dragon sword and the corpse of a finger maiden. This sight caught the Tarnish's attention. Inscribed before the maiden were the words, "Kill whomever you wish, for you are the Lord of Frenzied Flame." A strange sense of familiarity stirred within him. He pushed open the doors and entered the Chapel of Anticipation. Before him stood the towering Erdtree, radiating its sacred golden light, illuminating even the darkest night. It was clear that the strong of this world were formidable indeed, and thus the Tarnished was welcomed. What stood before him was a creature descended from nobility, its body grotesquely grafted with countless limbs. It seemed the order of the world had shattered under twisted laws. Even those blessed by grace were not spared. The creature attacked Tarnished without discrimination. Its assaults were unnervingly swift. Yet before the Tarnish's relentless storm of blows, the noble scion was ultimately defeated. He thought he could finally leave this place, but a dead end lay ahead. The ground beneath his feet suddenly gave way. He fell into the abyss and lost consciousness. He did not know how much time had passed. A young woman rode toward him on horseback. The steed halted before his fallen body. The woman gazed upon the Tarnished, sensing this was fate's decree. And so, she saved him. When he awoke once more, the girl had already vanished. Donning his strongest Tarnished attire, he stepped onto the path toward becoming Elden Lord. This was where he now stood, in Limgrave, just south of the borderlands. The Erdtree loomed ahead, its branches blotting out the sky. It appeared distant, yet impossibly close. Nearby stood a masked man named Var. At a glance, Var saw that he was Tarnished and mocked him as maidenless. Supreme indeed. The two fingers, envoys of the greater will, grant guidance to every Tarnished who reaches this land. Each is assigned a finger maiden to guide him onward. They may also be led to the Round Table Hold to rest and commune with other Tarnishes. Yet his own maiden had already perished. Fortunately, through Var's guidance, Castle Stormvale could be seen atop the distant cliffs. That was where the Tarnished needed to go. To reach the Erdtree, he would have to pass through Stormvale. The borderlands were filled with formidable warriors. Only a few steps ahead stood the Tree Sentinel, a heavily armored knight clad in gold. Without hesitation, the knight charged. The golden halberd struck with tremendous force, and its wielder fought in perfect harmony with his steed. But the Tarnish's blade was no ordinary weapon. Each strike was swift and decisive. Under the flurry of lightning-fast attacks, the Tree Sentinel was swiftly brought down. On the road to Stormvale Castle, the girl who once saved him appeared before the Tarnished. Her name, he learned, was Melina. Melina spoke, "If you will take me to the foot of the Erdtree, I will serve you as your maiden instead." The offer carried many benefits. The girl before him kept one eye closed, her gaze steady and unreadable. In that moment, the Tarnished felt a spark, love at first sight. He accepted the pact without hesitation. This was no trivial decision. Before they parted, Melina entrusted him with Torrent. She had chosen the Tarnished. One has to admit, Melina really had a keen eye. With the Tarnish's assistance, he was now able to leap freely, his steps light as the wind. Along the journey, a witch doll named Ranni intercepted him. She seemed deeply interested in the one Melina had chosen. It turned out she had once been Torrent's former master. She granted him the power to summon spirits that would aid him in battle. Standing before this aloof and arrogant witch, the single-minded Tarnished found himself falling in love with her at first sight. Not because she bore 4 arms, but because he admired that proud and defiant soul. Mother and daughter silently etched this moment into their hearts. The Tarnished once again set out for Stormvale Castle. The road ahead was heavily guarded, with towering cliffs and impassable terrain blocking the way. In the shattered fog beyond Stormhill, outside the castle walls, he discovered a trembling figure, a young girl dressed in red. She too was Tarnished. After witnessing with her own eyes the fate of her companions, she spoke of a demigod. Godrick had slaughtered them, severing their limbs, grafting those stolen parts onto his own body. The girl in red was utterly terrified. She could only hide within the ruins, clinging to life. As for the Tarnished, the only spirit he could protect was a lone jellyfish left to him for self-defense. It seemed he would soon face the so-called demigods himself. Just as he approached Stormvale Castle, a horned figure appeared. Misshapen creatures blocked his path. The figure introduced himself as Margit, the Fell Omen. He declared the reason for his presence, to cull those who dared advance, Tarnishes who sought to become Elden Lord.
Margit's every movement radiated a mysterious, oppressive power. His presence alone stole the breath away. His strength was not to be underestimated. The staff in his hand shifted with terrifying momentum, transforming at will into blades, even manifesting a massive hammer. His attacks were unpredictable. Yet in the end, he was still no match for the Tarnished. Margit dissolved into golden light. It was only then that the Tarnished realized this had merely been Margit's projection. His true form still resided in the royal capital. At that moment, Melina appeared once more. She admitted she had once doubted how far he could go, but now she had seen his strength. Melina decided to send him to a place where Tarnishes could rest and convene, the Round Table Hold. The Tarnished agreed without hesitation, not for gain or reward, but simply to meet others like himself. Heroes from every path gathered there. The Round Table Hold was truly a place of great talent. Among them were many figures: a man who wore a golden mask seeking the perfect law, a woman who shared a bed with champions, and Fia, the deathbed companion, shunned by many and not counted among the original members of the Hold. There were also veterans of an older generation of Tarnishes. Even the ever-watchful Ensha lingered in silence. A cleric named Brother Corin was there, devoted to the teachings of the Golden Order. There was also the blacksmith, smithing master Hugh, chained like a prisoner, forging weapons day and night for the Tarnishes. One thing worth noting, after meeting the Tarnished, Fia approached him directly. She spoke plainly, without pretense, asking him if he would allow her to hold him. Though such contact defied convention, it was nonetheless a sacred right. The Tarnished could only grit his teeth and accept her embrace. Fia told him that whenever he sought comfort, she would always welcome him.
Their own strength is weak, yet they bully the timid and fear the truly strong. During the War of the Shattering, Godrick feared the might of the strongest beings, so he hid within the city, barely daring to breathe. In the end, he disguised himself among the women and escaped the capital. After fleeing the city, he grew even more arrogant, and thus challenged the unrivaled Valkyrie of the Blaidd, Melina. The result was utter defeat. He knelt, kissed Melina's feet, and only then was his life spared. After being torn apart by countless powers, Godrick could only graft more than 10 bodies onto himself. Using grafting as a twisted heresy to regain confidence, he turned countless Tarnished into parts of his flesh. Perhaps through grafting, Godrick believed he had regained his former strength, and even dared to proclaim himself the Golden King. Yet the so-called king limped forward like a cripple, struggling even to approach the Tarnished. Those grafted arms did not make him stronger, they only made him grotesque. After only a few strikes, Godrick could no longer endure. In desperation, he raised the great axe in his hand and severed his own massive left arm. Thrusting the stump into the dragon's severed head, he attempted to harness the power of dragon fire to compensate for his weakness. Facing such a pitiful foe, the Tarnished saw no reason to waste time. Lightning gathered in his hand, thunder roaring in an instant. With the kingly art of storm and lightning unleashed, the most despicable of inheritors met his end. After all, he was only a descendant of the Golden Lineage. Thus the Tarnished claimed Godrick's great rune and watched him fall upon the battlefield. The gatekeeper looked on and crushed Godrick's head beneath his heel. Perhaps this was the fate he deserved. Passing through Stormvale Castle, the Tarnished entered Liurnia of the Lakes, a land that must be crossed on the path to the Erdtree. From a sorcerer encountered in a ruined church, the Tarnished learned that to cross the mist-shrouded lake, one must enter Raya Lucaria, the Academy of Magic. Only by breaking the Academy's magical seal could one reach the royal capital. Yet the Academy had been sealed for many years. Only a special glintstone key could open the way and allow entry. Fortunately, the Tarnished learned where the key could be found. Thus, discovering its location, he set off at once. Strange creatures roamed the road ahead, including a massive lobster known as the King of Shrimp. But if Godrick could manage such foes, then these were no great obstacle. After all, the enemies here were far stronger than before. The Tarnished also changed to a more suitable weapon, preparing for what lay ahead. However, the glintstone key was guarded by a flying dragon, a creature that required no practice to slaughter prey. Rather than fight it head-on, the Tarnished calmly retrieved the key and escaped on torrent without delay. With steady exploration, the veil shrouding the academy slowly lifted. The sigil magic mastered within Raya Lucaria had once spread across the lands between, making the academy's power unfathomable. Yet a compassionate girl from Caria Manor chose a different path. She turned to lunar sorcery, opposing the dominance of glintstone magic. Rejecting the tyranny of conquest and the exclusion of bloodlines, she instead allowed all races to study sorcery freely, whether glintstone or the magic of the moon. The land of Caria thus rose in power, becoming a royal domain. And that girl was Rennala, queen of the full moon. She could be called the strongest human sorcerer of her age. Yet it was all fated under the influence of the moon. At that time, a young man of immense wealth emerged from the Golden Lineage, a general crowned with flowing red hair. His name was Radagon, a man of both intellect and martial prowess, and strikingly handsome as well. Radagon led the forces of gold, seeking to conquer the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Who could have expected the Queen of the Full Moon to fall in love? The two fell for each other at first sight on the battlefield. What should have been a clash of armies became a sudden marriage alliance. The Academy thus became an ally of the Golden Order. To hasten their union, Radagon entered the marriage without hesitation or demands. He joined the family in the most dazzling fashion. Husband and wife, they soon bore 3 children together. Because of their overwhelming power, their offspring were born as demigods. They were General Radahan, the mightiest of the demigods, Rykard, the Lord of Blasphemy, and Ranni, the Lunar Princess. Yet beneath this seemingly perfect marriage lay the reflection of youth standing at a crossroads, the fear of marriage itself. For at that very moment, Queen Marika exiled Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. After he was cast out of the lands between, the red-haired Radagon returned. Without hesitation, even without a formal separation, he abandoned the Queen of the Full Moon, leaving behind even their 3 children. Overnight, he returned to the royal capital beneath the Erdtree and became Queen Marika's second husband. Radagon rose quickly through destiny, becoming the second Elden Lord. Because of a lover's betrayal, the Queen of the Full Moon fell into deep despair. She could only immerse herself endlessly in forbidden sorcery, attempting to use the amber egg Radagon left behind to give birth once more. Yet these children were frail and short-lived. Seeing their queen descend into madness, the Academy revolted. They overthrew the Carian royal family and imprisoned the Queen of the Full Moon within the Academy's great library. One could only imagine how irreversible the wounds of fate had become. Returning to the Tarnished, after venturing deeper into the Academy, he encountered a red wolf bearing Radagon's name. It was surely the remnant of that golden man's legacy. If that were the case, then this red wolf could not be spared. However, in the Academy of Raya Lucaria, even beasts wield sorcery. As the saying goes, a stormy night is never silent. The Tarnished relied on simple, decisive techniques and swiftly brought the wolf to justice. Calmly, he opened the sealed doors ahead and stepped inside. At his feet lay a crawling scholar who even dared to gnaw at his boots. A twisted smile crept across the scholar's face. And not just one, more scholars raised candles in their hands. The atmosphere, once lively, turned deeply unsettling. Above them all, the Queen of the Full Moon floated slowly in the air. It was clear these scholars had created life through forbidden sorcery. After all, the Tarnished was an outsider. At once, the scholars launched their assault. A storm of magic rained down upon him, striking his body like a violent tempest, forcing even the strongest Tarnished to falter. This was the power of the Full Moon Queen, without her lifting a hand. Yet the Tarnished quickly perceived the flaw. Sweeping aside the scholars in great numbers, the Queen herself fell to the ground. Seizing the moment, he struck decisively. The Queen's amber egg slipped from her grasp and fell to the floor. But then, from somewhere in the distance, figures sharing the same form as their mother appeared before the Tarnished and dragged him into the realm of the moon. She intended to make the one disturbing her mother truly feel the power of the last Queen of Caria, the true sorcery of the moon. Just as Ranni once warned, this magic was terrifying.
A violent surge of energy erupted forth, interwoven with glintstone sorcery, and waves of dark moons detonated one after another, exploding around the Tarnished. Even the caster herself transformed into a cold, dark moon, unleashing spells without end. Yet this also caused the Tarnished to take notice of the Lunar Princess, because within Ranni he sensed a strange familiarity, as though fate itself had taken offense.
Ranni then invoked summoning magic, calling forth creature after creature, even dragons and towering monstrosities. The onslaught was relentless, but the Tarnished had seen enough. Seizing a brief opening, he severed the bond between mother and daughter with a single strike. That decisive blow was born from the Amber Egg. Though the queen was defeated, the Tarnished paid her no heed. She still clutched the Amber Egg, lost in thoughts of that red-haired man. After the battle, the Tarnished could not help but grow increasingly curious about Ranni. That familiar arrogance, he had seen it somewhere before. He decided he would seek her out again, but first he returned to the Round Table Hold. The girl in red, Roderica, had also arrived there. After all, she had once given the Tarnished a spirit jellyfish. He chose to lend her his help. With the blacksmith's guidance, he sensed that the girl possessed the rare gift of spirit tuning. Under the Tarnished's encouragement, she finally found her purpose, becoming a spirit tuner, one capable of strengthening summoned allies. No longer mocked or ignored, she felt needed for the first time. She had once believed the Tarnished sought only to test her, yet instead she encountered genuine kindness. Afterward, while staying at the hold, the Tarnished met the twin maidens, along with the old woman who spoke on their behalf. The crone urged him that if he offered the great rune at the Erdtree, he could become Queen Marika's consort and ascend as the third Elden Lord. One could not help but wonder, was this not merely another transaction? One price was never enough, the second demanded knowledge. Only the third was the true cost. For now, however, he still needed to attend to the Lunar Princess. Since the Queen of the Full Moon hailed from Caria Manor, her daughter was surely there as well. Guided by Torrent's swift hooves, the Tarnished soon reached Caria Manor. The grounds were riddled with deadly magic traps, yet none could halt him. Only the many-fingered monstrosities proved troublesome. They posed little threat, but being seized by them was deeply unsettling. Worse still, knights and dragons guarded the estate. Nevertheless, after enduring countless trials, the Tarnished finally reached the Mage Tower where Ranni resided. Upon ascending to the highest floor, the mysterious Lunar Princess at last appeared before him. Only then did he realize Ranni was once the witch Rennala who had gifted him the spirit calling bell. And so, fate quietly resumed its course.
Those chosen as candidates to become gods are spoken of by the greater will itself. Every such god is bestowed by the two fingers with a unique shadowbound beast to serve as their companion. Yet this so-called companion may also act as a watcher. Queen Marika's shadowbound beast was known as Malekith. Their bond was not one of master and pet, but of kin sworn as one. Under Marika's command, the seemingly harmless Black Blaidd carried terrifying power. From another god, Malekith took destined death itself and sealed that power within his blade. Day and night it was kept under strict watch, for destined death embodied the very concept of death itself. Once destined death was removed, the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death ceased to exist. At most, when one's time came, their soul would return to the Erdtree. Yet Ranni, driven by her devotion to lunar sorcery, was chosen by the Two Fingers as a candidate for godhood, one of the Empyreans. But Ranni of the Dark Moon sought to defy the Greater Will and the Golden Order. Thus she devised a plan, a conspiracy to escape the control of the Greater Will. Ranni assembled a group dominated by women known as the Black Knife Assassins. She had them steal a fragment of destined death which had been sealed within Malekith. This fragment was the Rune of Death. Through its power, Ranni obtained a god-slaying black knife. She first transferred her own soul into a witch doll, then used the black knife to slay her own flesh. In doing so, she freed herself from the Greater Will's control. Yet on that very same night, the Black Knife Assassins, wielding god-slaying blades, assassinated Queen Marika's firstborn, Godwyn the Golden. His soul was slain, yet his body lived on. Under the laws of the Golden Order, gods and demigods should have been immortal, but overnight, Ranni became a living soul without a body, while Godwyn became a living body without a soul.
Thus, 2 pillars of the Golden Order were broken. Even King Godfrey failed to comprehend what had occurred. A flaw had opened within the Golden Order. Only Godwyn's corpse remained, to be dealt with at a later time. And it was this tragedy that drove Queen Marika to shatter the Elden Ring. What followed were countless experiments, but here lay the crucial truth. Both Marika and the Black Knife assassins originated from beyond the lands between. Returning to the present, after Ranni finished recounting her past, she spoke plainly. She asked the Tarnished and Blaidd to seek the eternal city of Nokron and retrieve its hidden treasure. Blaidd, her sworn shadow, was tasked with both protecting and watching over Ranni. Even if Ranni defied the greater will, he remained loyally by her side. Though to him, it was merely a hunt for treasure, a way to win Ranni's favor. Thus the Tarnished set out with Blaidd, agreeing to meet within the Eternal City. Through a hidden well, they descended underground to the buried Eternal City. Once a brilliant civilization had flourished here, but all changed with the arrival of the Golden Order. They resisted, even forging weapons to fight back, blades meant to harm gods. In response, the enraged Greater Will sent down a rain of meteors once more, burying the Eternal City beneath the earth. Along with it came horrors, including a creature known as the Dark Mother. And thus the path was revealed. A massacre erupted within the city. After that, life in the Eternal City could exist only beneath a false night sky, waiting for the age that would one day belong to them. Fortunately, while searching for Blaidd in the Eternal City, the Tarnished encountered the people of the ancestral followers, the king of the ancestral spirits. The nature of this divine beast's life is life born from death, life emerging from the cycle of decay. The secrets buried here are countless, and among them lies a soul, still gazing toward a distant structure, chanting endlessly the name of the Lord of Blood. May the fountain of the Mohgwyn dynasty never run dry. It seems even reckless debts can always be settled there. The Tarnished silently committed this place to memory. Afterwards, he successfully reunited with Blaidd. But even though this was the Eternal City, their true destination was Nokron above. Blaidd could never find a way upward, so the Tarnished could only search for answers. At last, from the lips of a sorcerer named Sellen, they learned how to reach Nokron by using falling meteors to smash a path from above, opening a passage to Nokron. Long ago, the most powerful demigod, Radahn, to prevent careless intrusion across realms, sealed the stars by his own strength, thus earning the title, the General of the Shattered Stars. And to set the stars in motion once more, Radahn would have to be defeated. At last, there was an enemy worth fighting. Battle spirit ignited in the Tarnished. He immediately went to inform Blaidd. The two agreed to meet in Radahn's territory, Redmane Castle, in the region of Caelid. Coincidentally, the elevator of the Eternal City could lead directly to the lands above.